From the SNC World Headquarters in New York, I'm Bianco, and here are the stories we're following at this hour. The Supreme Court has allowed Virginia to resume its purge of voter registrations. It's a step the state says is aimed at keeping non-citizens from casting ballots. The justices granted an emergency appeal from Virginia's Republican administration led by Governor Glenn Youngkin after a federal judge found that the state illegally purged more than 1,600 voter registrations in the past 2 months. President Joe Biden has created a firestorm after appearing to call Donald Trump supporters garbage. That criticism was in response to a comedian who appeared at a Trump rally on Sunday and called the U.S. territory of Puerto Rico a floating pile of garbage. Nick Harper reports.
As Kamala Harris was giving her closing argument here in Washington on Tuesday night, Joe Biden was on a call with Latino voters saying the only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters. The White House maintains Biden was referring specifically to the comedian who made racist comments about Puerto Rico at Donald Trump's rally in New York on Sunday night. But it's drawing comparisons with Hillary Clinton's 2016 comments when she called Trump voters a basket of deplorables.
The group's promoting ballot measures to add amendments to the constitutions in 9 states that would enshrine a right to abortion have raised more than $160 million. That's nearly 6 times what their opponents have brought in. Abortion rights supporters have prevailed on all 7 ballot measures that have gone before voters since the U.S. Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade in 2022, which ended a nationwide right to abortion and opened the door for the bans and restrictions that are now being enforced in most Republican-controlled states. David DePape, who was sentenced to 30 years in federal prison for attacking the husband of former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi with a hammer in their California home, has been given a life term without the possibility of parole following a separate state trial. Prosecutors plan to argue that a Massachusetts Air National Guard member who pleaded guilty to leaking highly classified military documents about the war in Ukraine should serve nearly 17 years in prison. The U.S. economy grew at a healthy 2.8% annual rate from July through September, with consumers helping drive growth despite the weight of still high interest rates. South Korean lawmakers say North Korea has moved a launcher into place ready for an intercontinental ballistic missile and may decide to set it off around the time of the U.S. presidential election. Laura Westbrook reports.
South Korean officials say a mobile launcher has been positioned at a possible test site. They say that North Korea could conduct a long-range missile test or its 7th nuclear test around the time of the U.S. presidential election. Just last week, state media released a photo of North Korean leader Kim Jong-un inspecting strategic missile bases. And North Korea does have a habit of taking provocative actions, such as conducting tests of ballistic missiles or nuclear devices that coincide with U.S. elections. In Hong Kong, Laura Westbrook for Salem News Channel.
In New York, I'm Bianco, Salem News Channel.